Alright, hello everyone. Welcome to Spiral Nights again after a really long time, as is tradition. I'm less busy again, so I can make videos again for a short time and then I'll become busy again. Such is life. Now originally this was going to be just a regular Vanaduke run, but instead enough people have been asking me to do Rabid Snarbolax. I don't know why. The run is, in my opinion, it's super easy compared to the other Shadow Lair runs. I'm not sure what the whole hype about it is. But we'll do it anyways, because why not? Just, let's go for it. Okay. As far as armor goes, I'm just using Black Cat. The shield is a Exalted Honor Guard. Now that's a questionable decision, but it's my only piercing shield, and I feel like the piercing is more important than the shadow resist, because all of the shadow enemies are pretty easy to dodge. And the boss itself is actually a problem, in solo at least. What most people do in solo is bring a vortex, and then you can vortex the bosses to go right up to the bell, and it makes the whole thing super easy, but it also makes it boring, so we're not doing that. We're just gonna cut as few corners as possible and make this as difficult for ourselves as we can. And let's see, can I swap this thing's harness? I probably should, right? Yeah, let's go for golden. Okay. Piercing damage. Not sure how often I'm actually going to use the quills, but it's obviously better than shadow damages here in every regard possible. So that's what we're going to go for. Now the run, of course, starting off very easy. It's not a difficult Shadow Lair, but for some reason it's like one of the most requested things. I never got around to doing it. I just, like, walked into that thing because I'm really stupid. That's okay. I am poisoned, but this thing should still be cake to kill. Now it turns out if you don't walk into the enemies, you take a lot less damage. Fun fact. Little known. Have one new item, that's always good. Either a trade went through or we just got a booster pack. I should probably turn off the Steam UI in general, but too late for that, I suppose. Oh crud, I just missed that shot, that's bad. So yeah, the main thing that people do Rabid Snarby for is the Nightmare mains at the end. If you don't have Nightmare mains, it's the only place you can actually get them. And they're used for crafting the Snarbolax set. Which does look really nice, I'll admit. I'm not a huge fan of the helm, but I love the armor. Is that a Vitapod already? Nice! Shouldn't have used that pill then, but it's okay. We'll just snag the heart really quickly. There's no sense in being risky with Shadow Lairs. Even if it's the easiest one, bad things can still happen. There we go. It's been a really long time since I've done a Snarb SL as well. Usually I do like Darkfire or Red Romulus or Ice Queen, but it's always good to mix it up, I guess. This will be a learning experience for everyone, including myself. Let's see. Oh, that does spawn enemies, okay. So yes, I have no recollection of a lot of the spawns. But I don't think we'll need it either, we can just kind of play it as we go. Or it'll turn out that I'm underestimating this run and I'll die 15 times. Let's hope it's not that. Beautiful. Alrighty. You know what, we're just gonna pill for that one heart, because why not? This arena, I believe, was one of the harder ones. Yes, the Snarbolax itself actually does go here. Now, in a party, what you want to do is not be the person with the aggro. If you've got aggro, you're gonna get hurt a lot. Currently, I've got aggro. I don't know how dropping it works in solo. Okay, it doesn't work, is what it does. Apparently this thing is constantly looking to aggro someone. So we just want to stay out of range of its quills. The quills do a hefty chunk of damage, especially since I have no piercing resist beyond the shield. And they can also poison you, which is a bit of an inconvenience. There we go. I think there's 3 waves, there could be 4, but I'm pretty sure this is just 3. Oh wow, that thing went in the way of my dash onto that howitzer. That's just rude. Wait, it still broke my shield in 1 hit? Oh no. That's no good. I figured by having the Exalted Honor Guard, it'd be able to last. Apparently I was mistaken. So yes, the problem here is the unpredictability. You can't really tell, unless you've somehow played the run enough times that you know it's AI in and out. I have not, so I don't. Now it's stunned, so we can kill it and the run is done. Alright. So that's all, thank you for watching. No, I wish. The run keeps going on. There are occasional arenas where 1 or 2 will pop up. I think there's even an arena where you can stun them, which is nice, because then they stop attacking you. Also, people might say, oh, try not to break open the mob containers, and you know what? They're probably right, but we're gonna do it anyways. There we go. And the same with this one, because why not? What's the worst that could happen? Things melt really fast despite this being a Shadow Lair. Because they just decided to put in normal Wolvers or something. Not really sure. Now what the heck is happening with my ability to speak English? If I had been using the Dread Skelly Shield, that thing would not have done nearly as much damage. Since I'm not, it takes a ton of damage, but at the same time, we're cautious enough to not break the shield. So that's what matters. I already have full of those, that's good. Oh yeah, the sleep status effect was just reintroduced recently too. So I've been having a bit of fun doing arcade runs of that. I really like the level design. I'm not actually a huge fan of the status itself, but the levels are super neat. They're really well made. The random danger rooms in them are super neat too. I don't know what made them decide to stick in danger rooms that weren't in Clockwork Tunnels, but it's a nice addition. I'm gonna get hit by that? Yeah, okay. That's fine. Just wanted to get this thing. There we go. Oh, that was really poorly played by me. Alright. I am poisoned for a little while. I'll do significantly reduced damage. I'll also take more if I do get hit. I don't think I'll get hit again in this arena. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure that was the hardest part. And even that's not saying much since I'm not even really close to dead and I still have full pills. I remember Snarb SL. Oh, okay, I got hit anyways because I'm garbage. Don't worry about it. Snarb SL was a really big deal when I did first start Shadow Lairs. When they first released Shadow Lairs, you couldn't even buy the keys. You only got them as a 2% chance from lockboxes. So they were really expensive for a while. And you'd see some people would get the Snarb set. And then people would marvel over it in Haven. And be like, damn, that's the best set in the game, isn't it? And then it turns out that it actually kinda sucks. But that's okay, because it looks cool. But yes, I remember trying my hardest to get my hands on Shadow Keys. They were super expensive to buy from people. And then they released this sale, which for like a week, you could just buy the Shadow Keys from an NPC. And everyone was happy. And then they got rid of it, and everyone was sad, so they decided to just make it a permanent feature, because why not? They probably made a crap ton of money. Wow, I'm bad at this game. Okay. As much as I wish I could say it's because of my new computer and new keyboard, like, yeah, I'm not used to the new keyboards yet, but this game is running flawlessly on it. So it's really just my own fault that I'm getting hit so much, especially in the easiest Shadow Lair. We're gonna kill the turret and then with the slag. Okay. But yeah, so it was kind of a shame that such great content was gated at first. But it's wonderful that it exists as normal content now. Sort of. I mean, you can pay to enter it, which is good enough. Remember at the start when it was only iron lockboxes too, they first released accessories. And then people realized how screwed up the system is. Because lockboxes have like, there's a 4% tier, and then there's the 1% tier. And all the other ones don't matter because they're all garbage. So you have like a 5% chance of getting something decent. And so for that first little while, the two auras that existed in the game, I think it was Twinkle and Ghostly, were just worth so much money, and so were Wolvertails, because they were all really rare things. And people just clamored over that crap. Now Wolvertails, I will agree, are pretty nice, but the Twinkle aura, just picture that for a second. Nobody likes the Twinkle aura. There's probably like 2 people that use it. If you're one of those 2 people, I should probably apologize for offending you. But if you're not one of those 2 people, let's just take a minute to laugh at the people who paid 5 mil for a Twinkle aura, because it was ridiculous. And yeah, then they what did they do? Oh yeah, they had a flash sale at one point. It's like the first flash sale they ever did. It was well into the accessory system, but people absolutely love that stuff. I mean, I'm happy about the flash sales. I like how the rarer items, even if they're items that I own, became easier to get. Because I really don't think it's reasonable to have like 1 or 2 in-game items. Like my sleep foul bando I think is a 2 in-game, and at one point I had both copies of it. And that's just weird to me. I don't know. I feel like an accessory shouldn't be that rare. So, it's nice that flash sales exist. I'm not entirely sure where I'm going with all of this, it's just a random tangent, I guess. That's something to think about. Maybe they'll introduce more ways to get accessories, maybe they'll have flash sales again, because it's been a little while since we've had one. What I did like was when they introduced featured auctions, so those, couple of rare items at any given time on the auction house. But it started to sort of stagnate. You get the same items showing up every time. And some of those make sense, like the scissor sword. Okay, cool. It's only possible to get from featured auctions. Go ahead and just keep putting it in there, because it's the only way to get it, might as well, right? But other things, like the glow eyes. They keep putting glow eyes in the featured auctions. But glow eyes are actually an accessory that you can get from boxes. I've opened a couple of them before. So I'm not sure why those in particular get put up so much. And things like the extra tall and extra short height mods, which were only available from like one promotion, and now as a 1% item inside of a box that has a 1% chance to drop when you get a box on the prize wheel. Ridiculous odds overall, right? Those things, those extra tall and extra short mods, have not really gotten re-releases, and I don't think they've ever been in a flash sale. Which is kind of odd to me. I think there have been like 3 of them put up in featured auctions each. Oh, I forgot the spawned enemies. It seems like the slags are part of these respawner panels, so we'll just not bother with them at first. We'll just kill off all of the lumbers. Only exception to not bothering with the slags is if there's actually just no harm into doing so. That includes right now, I guess. Kill these mewcats, I guess? Yeah, they're not mewcats, whatever they're called. They must die. They're quite mobile things, and while they're easy to kill, they take up a lot of the arena. Looks like the slags aren't respawning anymore, so we'll just kill off as many as we can before we have to go. There we go. Thank you, Snarbolax, that was much appreciated. I don't think it also stuns you here. I can't actually remember. It's been so long. There must be more enemies though, right? Yeah. Not too many, actually. I'm not sure I actually care about that slag. So we'll just move on. So obviously I'm sort of rusty at the game. I haven't been able to play as much because of classes and work and all of that, but I really do like the game. I mean, apparently to the point that I'd buy a keyboard for it. It's always fun to play some more, even though I probably suck at it right now. At least comparatively. Yes, at one point I'd made a guild challenge board. So I offered rewards to people who could complete certain challenges in the guild, and there were things like, do a hitless Jelly King run. Which is obviously one of the easier ones, and that was claimed up pretty quickly. I believe there was a hitless Vanna run, there was a Vanna run with catalyzers, but one of the ones on the list, it was the most difficult one, was to do any Shadow Lair without getting hit. And that's a thing that I don't think anyone's actually ever done in this game in general. I've never heard of or seen a hitless Shadow Lair run. So I'm kinda curious if it'll ever happen. And if it will it just be in Snarbolax? Because that'd be boring, but expected. Or will someone somehow be able to do like a hitless DFV run, which would be absolutely insane. Even doing that run up until the boss without getting hit would be amazing. I'm just kind of curious if anyone will ever become good enough at the game, or at least play it enough, and already be good enough, to ever make that happen. And honestly, I'm not sure. I think it's like 50-50. There's a very realistic chance that it just never does happen. Especially since Shadow Lairs are gated behind keys and whatnot. Should have killed that spook guy off earlier. What this'll do. I thought about trying for it once myself, where I'd just buy like, I don't know, 5 or 10 shadow keys and just try to do a hitless Rabid Snarb run. But I realized that the problem here is that Rabid Snarbolax is just really boring. The run, like, I don't know, there's not enough action. At least compared to other Shadow Lairs. Like, yeah, it's... if it were a normal run, it'd be pretty darn cool. But it's not, so... not sure. I think that's good. Yeah. Now I do have full remedies, I don't actually need that one. I think this area closes off as well, so this will be forever lost to time and space and whatever you have. Did that just... okay, that's interesting. So yes, when you stun these Snarbolaxes here, they actually get removed from the arena. If you don't stun any, like... the first time I did this run, when Shadow Lairs first came out, nobody knew what the heck was going on here. No one had ever done Rabid Snarbolax before. I never even heard of anyone doing it before my group did. So nobody had any clue what we were getting into. And it ended up being a lot of us having to revive each other, because not only was it way back then, we were also significantly worse at the game. The game was still fairly young. I think it was within the first year or so of the game coming out. We just didn't have the skills required to do this run without dying. Like, not even without dying, but without dying a lot. I just screwed up that stun. Speaking of not having the skills. That wasn't in range, darn. That's the other problem here, I have no idea what the actual range is on these things. So I might as well kill these howitzers fast. Just gonna stealth out and we'll let things happen. There we go. Perfect. But yes, so we didn't realize that you could actually stun the Snarbolaxes here. Or I guess we just didn't think to try. It just never came up, right? And this is in a full 4-person run as well, so occasionally a stray shot would hit one of these and stun all the random enemies. That was about it. So we had 2 Snarbolaxes chasing us for that whole arena, and I remember it was just a huge mess. Where we'd keep having someone would die, and then someone else would come over and revive them, and then a heart would drop, and at the time, it wasn't the spark system. You could go up to someone and you revive them, but it cost you half your health. And you needed at least 1 full bar to make that happen. So if someone ever had like half a heart, you just couldn't revive anyone, so you need to get one to drop. And I don't even know how many times we died in there, but someone would go to revive someone else, and then Snarbolax would pop up and kill them. So then the next person needs to revive them, but every time your health gets halved, so it's just a constant flow of finding hearts and then losing them. And to think that if we just known we could stun them, it would have been so much easier. So please, if you do this run, just stun those Snarbolaxes. Oh darn, I was too slow. The thing's body was blocking it at first. Maybe I should have just tried anyways. There we go. Now when you lower it to about 1/3 of its health, for every 1/3 of a health bar, it ends up going into the next phase. That was a Rift Walker charge, oh my god. I can't believe I thought that was a blitz. And yes, when you send it into the next phase, it becomes invulnerable and it loses the stun. However, there is a Mender that respawns. Wow, that was not in range. That's more than a bit surprising, actually. But if the Mender takes them above 1/3 health, it adds on a phase to the boss. How is that? What? I'm not entirely sure how the mechanics of this fight work, but there must be more than one condition. I thought it was just range required. Apparently not the case, because there's no world in which that wasn't in range. But yes, if this Mender on this pad respawns and decides to heal a Snarbolax, it adds on 1 phase to the fight. What in the world? I'm not really sure. Does it have to be attacking? This is gonna be a journey of discovery for me. Unless it is just glitching up, I'm not actually sure. I haven't played these in so long. So yes, you see it just got healed by the Mender. Now it would have been on the last phase of its health bar. Okay, maybe it does have to be attacking then. Wait, it did? What? Okay. Let's go. Again, not a clue how that is not stunned, because that was actually after its attack animation. Maybe it was too far after. Maybe I'm just gonna die here. I'm not really sure. Why is that showing as... Okay. It is actually just glitchy. I don't know what that was. Unless I became colorblind partway through there, that bell was still green, and it just hadn't properly turned to red. Now I do have 1 health left, which is always good. But we made it, so it's okay. Now that I know that you might be thinking, well, he said that was the easiest Shadow Lair. But he has like 1 health. What happened? Well, it is still the easiest. The thing is I'm actually practiced on the other ones, and I'm not on this. But... And yeah, again, there's also that strategy where you just bring a vortex. And the Snarbolaxes, even when they're invulnerable, will be brought in by the vortex. So you just put it right near the bell, but not close enough to trigger the bell. And then it pulls in the Snarbolaxes when they're dashing through the middle, and they get stuck on your vortex. So then you can just immediately use the bell and stun them. We're not doing it because it's sort of like the statue trick in Darkfire Vanna. It just makes things easier. But yes, that was Rabid Snarbolax. There's not really much happening there, but I hope you enjoyed anyways. Now, Unknown Passage is always fun. But we can do... I'm not sure if I've showed this before, but there's some tricks you can use with the battle sprites. So for example, if you use a battle sprite ability, and then switch to another battle sprite, it'll immediately use its 2. And if you do this fast enough, you can get up to 3 battle sprite abilities. So I can cloak, then I can do this and it'll heart attack, and then I could do a Drakon. Oh, I did it too slowly though. Drakon, cloak reset. There we go. Now, in the Unknown Passage, since you can swap your equips the whole way through, that means you could realistically just do this entire thing with only battle sprites while being perma-stealthed. Which would just be kind of ridiculous. I don't know why, it's just kind of funny to think about. Maybe one day I'll just do that on my own time, but I don't think it'd be fun enough to watch someone do that. This game does have a lot of bugs though. Most of them you won't run into unless you actively try to, but they can be abused like madness. There's another bug I found out earlier today. I was in the training hall with a friend. And I found out that you can actually get, if you swap sprite perks, there's like a 1-frame window, or after you flash charge, if you also do the glitch where you swap onto another sprite to renew a sprite effect, and you go into Invis again, your flash charged attack will do full damage. Usually flash charges are just a regular charge attack, they don't keep your buff. But if you do it with that glitch, you get the buff as well. It's pretty good. Maybe that didn't make sense to people who don't know what a flash charge is. To people who do, it's a really neat trick that will never be practical, because the only place you can do it is Unknown Passage. And it's also frame perfect, which is, of course, always more difficult. Wow, my bounce hit that, whoops. Not what I meant to do. It's alright. Not sure there was a point to killing that lumber, but we're doing it anyways because... who knows? Deforestation. There we go. Good reasoning. Now, of course, since this is the Unknown Passage, there's something that I'm morally obligated to do. And that is to use the fabled Pulsar loadout on an actual run. Oh my goodness. This loadout is handcrafted. Absolute perfection. Every element is covered. Except for piercing, because screw piercing. There are 0 weaknesses to this. This is the optimal strategy and should be used for every run. Especially in a party where you'll knock things into your teammates. It's really good. The DPS just far exceeds Mixmasters. You can see this enemy just melted. It's dead. Oh my goodness. I'm also just gonna kill these gremlins real quick. Because they're really annoying. I don't know what it is about the Pulsar loadout, but this is like my favorite silly loadout. It's just the most fire and forget thing ever. Because you just swap between all of the Pulsars, and eventually you'll hit the enemy's weakness, or if not, you'll at least get the Supernova, which doesn't care what attribute they are. It's just a beautiful loadout. Now 3 of the 4 pulsars are super effective against the particular unknown passage slimes as well. They're weak to both elemental and shadow, which makes this load even more optimal. It also just looks nice. Look at all those explosions, oh my goodness. Absolutely beautiful. This Wolver cannot handle the 34 damage being shot at it, and promptly dies. Not really sure what other loadouts would be fun here. Go Antiguas. It's the weapon that I wish was good, but isn't. Let's go with them anyways. Alrighty. Why do I have the shadow ones on the opposite sides of the loadout? That makes no sense. Wouldn't you want to swap between them? I apparently did not consider viability when making the Antigua loadout. It just exists for the sake of existing. I don't think they're all level 10 either. Maybe only the Argent is. Actually, no, the Carbine must be. There's no way the Carbine isn't level 10. Yeah, okay. So there's just the Sentenza that isn't. Would be really nice is if these guns actually had a faster fire rate. Because they're supposed to be the super mobile whatever guns. But they're not actually more mobile. You move at the same speed while firing them. And despite having more shots in the clip, they don't actually shoot faster per individual shot. So there's no real reason to ever use them, considering the damage is just so low. Especially once you factor in weapon swapping, you just get way more damage out by using regular old weapons. Like the blasters. Or the Mixmaster, but you know, it's not a fair comparison on that one. Still, the Elemental Blaster does more damage than the Elemental Antigua. And more DPS, which is the important thing. And there we go. That's the end of the 100% serious Shadow Lair Snarb run. Every inch of that strategy was planned to perfection. We did that run countless times beforehand. And I speak sarcasm as a first language. But there's the Nightmare main. The real reason you do this is a part of this thing. Incredible. You also have the Snarbolax coat itself, which is same materials I believe, but it just looks so good. Look at that thing. Is there only one thing that uses Maiden's Tear? Oh no, there is 2. Okay. I just forget what uses what. Anyways, that's all for the run. Thank you all for watching, and I guess we'll go to the loot as well, because people always want to see that. Now the one thing about the loot is it's going to be affected by the arcade itself. I did... From floor 18, I couldn't find a party that was at 23. So we're gonna have a bit more than actual. And the run itself does not give many radiance, at least compared to the other Shadow Lairs. You look at like Darkfire Vanna's, I think 66 radiance on average. It was quite a bit. This one's probably more like 21 at most. Maybe it's even 18. We got 15 that time. I believe that's below average though. Yeah, so probably like 8 or 9k from the run itself. It's like a Vanna run, basically. Yes, thank you again. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.